used to playing a certain way, and your confidence can kind of go up and down over the course of the season. And anybody needs just encouragement from teammates, knowing you're going to get back to yourself.
If you having that support, I don't know if you're able to articulate just how hard has this span been on you.
Yeah, it's the tough part about this life, are a lot of times, and it's probably something I need to get better at. Your happiness for a lot of ways is dictated based on how you perform on the court, in front of everybody else. And you get 2 days where you get to think about how you played, and luckily it's different from college. You don't have a week to think about it. You have 2 days, the NBA, you play again quick. But I talked about a small victory. This is a small victory in the course of a long season. I know I can still play a lot better, but I'll remember that shot. And at the end of the game was obviously a big shot, big moment. It felt really good. But the last couple of weeks has been a lot of up and downs for sure.
Kev, to see you, play a big part in winning this game, getting the light the beam at the end, all that, confidence, rhythm, all that stuff's good for a player. How good does it feel?
Yeah, it feels good. There's no denying that. A lot of confidence. You need to see results in games. You can only practice so much, get so many extra reps. You need to see the ball go in a game. And the first one went down tonight. It was kind of a sigh of relief. But you need those game reps. It's hard in this league, obviously, to get that sometimes. But you put in as much work you can behind the scenes, and you hope it translates.
Yeah, Kevin, 23 free throws for the Lakers in that first half, 11 in the second. How do you feel like you guys did adjusting in that aspect?
Yeah, we're trying to be more physical. I think a lot of those coaches will take. We just got to stop with the reaching and playing more straight up at the rim. But we're trying to be more physical as a team. We're trying to get into other teams and establish ourselves. And so sometimes you're going to foul more. We were better in the second half. I think they only had 11 free throws in the second half. Really kind of limited them and made them finish around the rim, and we're able to get rebounds on the flip side. But some of those fouling we'll take. We don't want Domas or Fox to be the ones fouling, but other guys, we just got to pick up our physicality.
Kevin, this may be a rhetorical question, but did you get the DP on G tonight?
I did, yeah. I did not wear the chain in here, but I was joking. It didn't take me 30 games to get it this year. Just 3 this time.
Kevin, I don't know how familiar you are with the, injury luck narrative that was around this team last year, but for De'Aaron to go down there in the fourth quarter and finish out that fourth quarter the way that he did, what does that mean to the team, and how inspiring is that?
Yeah, Fox, our closer, you guys saw him trying to battle through it. He didn't want to come off the court. He wasn't supposed to start the overtime, and he just kind of walked out there and told the coaches he was going to play. And he's a warrior. Everybody knows there was some injuries guys went through last year and played through. But I'll go back to it again. Malik stepped up huge today. We have guys behind our starters, really anybody, the guys that are ready to play, that are ready to step in. And Malik, Sasha, Davion, JaVale, Chris, everybody who came in played a big part.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Kevin. Appreciate it.
I'm sure the Lakers feel the same way, but we can play better. I thought the physicality was there most of the night. We still have to understand that, in certain instances, physicality doesn't mean reaching at the last second. Physicality doesn't mean having one hand up and one hand down. You got to lead with your chest at all times. You got to go vertical at all times. And if they make tough shots, then they make tough shots. So we're headed in that direction, but the 34 free throws were a lot. That's what kept them in the game. I thought we were much better in the second half and overtime combined. They had 11 free throw attempts, and that went way down from the 23 that they had in the first half. Our guys, we didn't get a lot of offensive rebounds, but every time we got one, it seemed like we made them pay. I don't know how. You had 6 offensive rebounds, 19 rebounds, maybe those 3 were offensive rebounds, I don't know, but to have 20 second chance points was big. And then, this team dominates teams, the Lakers, they dominate teams in the paint, and you know, for them to score 44 points in the paint, for us, that was good. And so we're trying, we're making steps in the right direction. We're going to keep preaching it, and when I say preaching it, being physical, but trying to keep learning how to be physical the right way. And then, you know, we had a lot of great performances from a lot of different people. I thought Malik was big for us in overtime, especially. You know, Foxy, he's tough as nails, man. So to try to show the grit that he showed and get out there and help us win a ball game, that just speaks volumes of who he is and how much he wants to lay his body on the line for his team. And you know, Kevin, I thought Kevin had a hell of a game. He was our defensive player of the game tonight. He had 7 rebounds, and he had 2 big blocks. He got his blocks the right way. We always talk about rear view challenge if you're in the area, and his 2 blocks, one big one for sure, was the definition of what a rear view challenge is. So, and then he had 4 assists and hit a big 3, I think, on top of that. So we'll sprinkle in a little offense, but big game for him, especially defensively. Great team win, especially with our 2 all-stars out in the overtime period.
Yeah, Mike, 2 quick ones. Number 1, do you have any update on De'Aaron?
No update.
Okay. Secondly, with Kevin, I mean, you stuck with him, played 37 minutes. So how much is it showing faith in a player who's, you know, scuffling a little bit with the shot to have him go out there, find, you know, ways to help the team other than that, and then come through in the clutch with a big shot?
You know, we always know that Kevin can shoot the ball. I mean, he's been doing it his whole career, and so this has never been about him shooting the ball. You know, I told him today, I said, hey, you had 5 great looks, not good looks, not pretty good looks. He had 5 great looks against the Warriors, ones that I live with every day. I told him, keep shooting it, just let it fly. And where he needs to lock in, and not just him, but it's everybody. Where everybody needs to lock in is on the defense end of the floor. And if we're defending the right way, with a sense of physicality, a sense of urgency, then you're going to have a chance to play. And it's hard because we have a lot of guys we feel like we can play, and Trey's not even healthy right now. So it's healthy competition for him and everybody else, minus Domas and Foxy and maybe Keegan a little bit. But it's healthy competition to have on a team, especially this early, because it gives me the flexibility as a head coach to make tough decisions, but play a lot of different ways.
Hey, Coach, noticed 2 moments tonight where it looked like somebody was ready to check in, and then it seems like the guy they were about to check in for hit a 3. You sent it back to the bench. What is sort of the thought process when it comes to that?
I mean, obviously, if the guy hits a 3, you know, you want him to keep rolling. I don't remember. I only remember one, and it was Keegan. He was wide open, and he had a smaller guy closing out on him, and he traveled. And he's got to shoot the ball. He's one of the best shooters I've been around, and he didn't shoot it. And I told him the only reason he'll probably come out of games this year when he's not supposed to get some rest, if he doesn't shoot the freaking ball. And it was great because the next opportunity he got, he shot it, and I think he turned to me and looked at me and said, F you, which I loved. It was great. So he could shoot. He better frickin' shoot the ball, or else he's coming out the game. If he feels like he's open, I'm gonna ride with him.
Coach Brown, Sasha Visicall, seems like he's just getting better and better each game. I think you did mention something about effort along the lines with him. Just want to get your thoughts about how he's been playing these last 3 games, and especially on the defensive end.
No, his effort's always been there. You know, what the reality of it is, what's going to happen is when he's on the floor, a lot of teams are just going to call him up into pick and roll. So he's got to be able to sit down and guard if he switches, or he's got to be able to play the coverage that we're in. And if he can do that, he's going to have a chance to be on the floor a lot because, as you can see, He's got a good feel for the game. He does a lot of little things out on the floor. And man, I tell you what, when he gets his rhythm from that three-point line, look out, because he can flat out shoot it. And his ability to rebound is second to none, especially from the perimeter. So he's played well for us, and you like what you see when he's on the floor with our team.
Mike, can you share with us any of the conversation that took place with Fox, like coming back into the game and then coming out of the game again, like just what he was saying, what he was feeling, and maybe what next steps might be in evaluating that injury?
I don't know what the next steps are evaluating the injury, because I haven't heard anything yet, so I don't even know what the first step is. But obviously he got hurt. He went to the back. He came back out, and everybody said he can go. So I said, "Play the game then, if he can go." So he goes in the game. We watch him, and it got to a point where he was limping real bad, and so there was a timeout, and I put somebody else in. I can't remember. I had JaVale, maybe I had Malik out there with Kevin, HB, and Keegan, and I'm talking to my coaches at the end of the timeout, and he's on the floor. And so I started calling him, and he was ignoring me. And so I said, okay, well, he's ignoring me, so I guess I got to leave him on the floor. So we left him on the floor, and then he continued to limp, and we ended up subbing him out. But there wasn't a lot of conversation. He felt he'd go, so he stayed on the floor. And then when I felt he really couldn't go, we took him out.
Coach, you talked a little bit about Malik and how he stepped up in overtime tonight. How important is what he brings offensively, especially if Fox does miss sometime?
It's important. He's a really good offensive player for us, but he knows, I know, and everybody in Sacramento knows he can play at a high level on that end of the floor. What he's got to do, he's got to get locked in defensively for us. And when he does, he can be a really good, high-level two-way player. They can start at times. It'd be hard for me to start him just because I love the spark that he gives us and the versatility that he gives us coming off the bench. But it's all about whether or not he wants to play on the other end of the floor. And if he does, there's nobody better because he does so much with the basketball. Our coaches told me today that he was the #1 player offensively in the pick and roll in the league, and JaVale's the #1 roller in the league. So it's above my head, but he's doing a great job on that end of the floor, as we all know.
Coach, you mentioned Kevin Huerter's 2 blocks. You guys had 7 blocks tonight by 6 different players. So what did that say about how well you defended as a team tonight?
I'm not I've said this before, I'm not a huge block shot guy, but the way we got him, I think we got one closing out on a 3-point shooter that was hot. So we got to him and left our feet and tried to contest the shot, and ended up coming up with a block. I think Kevin Huerter got 2 rear view challenges. I think we might have gotten a couple more rear view challenges, and if we get them just going vertical, then I'm okay with it. So, I just, a team like that, again, shoots 43% from the floor, I think 33% from the free throw line. We didn't do that last year, and again, I'm sure they feel like they can play better, and they probably can. But the 34 free throws, it was a big difference in the game. But if you take those away, which I know you can't because it's all part of the game of basketball, but if we can figure out how to be physical and not send guys to the free throw line as much as we did, I'm living with 43%, 33% every day of the week, especially when they score 44 points in the paint. So there were some good things, I think, defensively, just from watching the game. It'd be fun to go back and watch the tape to see if what I saw out there, I still feel the same. But I got to give our guys effort across the board because, they can create a ton of tough matchups, and our guys try to stick to the game plan. So I applaud our guys for it.
Coach, Keegan had 17 in the second half, a couple steals and a block, and you mentioned kind of how he got back at you when he knocked down that 3. What does it mean to have someone his age be able to respond to your coaching style the way he does?
the world because if you think about it, he started off slow in our playoff series, and he showed a mental toughness that I hadn't seen from somebody that young in terms of turning his game around. He was phenomenal during that series, and I'll tell you, the sky's the limit for him, and he's just scratching the surface. When he gets right, ooh, it'll be a lot of fun because he can go get it. Thank you, guys.
LeBron, you get into OT in Sacramento a little bit shorthanded, right, with Sabonis out. Fox only played a couple minutes. What did you see as the difference? You guys were used to maybe kind of executing down the stretch in situations like that.
We did execute. I mean, obviously I had a turnover to start the overtime. We did execute. We got some great looks. The timely shots that that we weren't able to knock down, they were able to knock down. So we did execute.
Eddie was talking about and Darvin about the defensive glass a little bit, like second chance points, saw a couple opportunities in the OT. What did you see there?
I mean, we made them take some tough shots. There was a couple long rebounds. They were able to bat them out, get some second chance points. That's kind of been our Achilles heel over the last couple of years, second chance points. Tonight was another killer for us.
And then, of course, 20-year anniversary for you. I'm sure you would have preferred it happen in a different way. It's a different arena, but how do you put all that into perspective? Just the same day in the first game of your rookie season.
Oh yeah, I mean it's pretty cool. I mean when you look at to the date of October 29th, 20 years since I started my career, and being here in Sac, obviously it was in Oracle Arena at the time. But it's still a lot of memories, and it's pretty special. I'm still doing it, and I played a game that I love. It's been a long journey.
And it took overtime to have the game present an opportunity for a breakaway. I mean, that had to have flashed through your head when you went up to finish that.
Yeah. I mean, any moments that you get where you just think back to where you were. I mean, for me, I was an 18-year-old kid, and playing a game that I love, the dream coming true for me to be on the NBA floor and playing in a regular season game. To have a breakaway, I won. Obviously 20 years ago came off a steal, a reverse pass. I was able to play the pass lane, get the reverse pass. Tonight was off a tip, off an offensive rebound, and I was able to take it and slam it home. So, some pretty cool correlation for sure.
LeBron, what's your overall thoughts about the Sacramento Kings right now? Because took you guys into overtime, and last year, they won a couple of games against you guys. What's your overall thoughts about this team and De'Aaron Fox?
They got the reigning coach of the year. I know what Mike Brown is all about, being able to play for him for many years, and then just seeing his, his growth continue to grow over the years as an assistant. But obviously he made his mark last year being the coach of this franchise, and D-Fox just keep getting better and better. So, a really good franchise.
Darvin said his personal responsibility right now is kind of just to figure out the rotation sooner rather than later. And obviously, I imagine as a player, you want to get it going as quick as possible, but you recognize that the coach needs some time to figure out what he is working with. What's it like kind of working with the head coach in that process as he goes through the different permutations?
Your job is, if you're on the floor, then you try to make it work with the other four guys that's on the floor with you. You try to complement each other the best way you can, both offensively and defensively, until coach figure out a rhythm, until you know what your seventh pattern is, or whatever the case may be.
You talked about the success of the Kings from last year to this year. Can you pinpoint something particularly that they made it difficult for you guys collectively as a team tonight to do, whether it was getting out in transition defense or just anything that they did to make it difficult for you guys tonight?
No, I think there's two really good teams going at it.
LeBron, you just going back to Dave's question, you guys, have new guys, but you also have continuity. How's it been integrating and finding that rhythm between with the guys that you're trying to bring along with you?
I mean, it's been good. Obviously, it's going to take a little time. But every opportunity we get to get on the floor, the guys from our previous team last year, integrating the guys that's just coming on, to continue to fast track everybody, and it's going to take film sessions and walkthroughs and shoot-arounds and practices in order to continue to fast-track it because we want to get there. But, you know, I like the way we had some moments tonight. We had some really good moments tonight. Just wasn't able, to pull out, you know, the way we would like to.
Last question, Dan.
You guys have been down double digits in the first quarter in each three of these games to start the season. Why do you think that's been, and what can you guys do in terms of, is that worth discussing, or is that something that just kind of mechanically you guys just have to put more force right away?
You know, we just got to be better. Got to be better for sure. But we figure it out. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Excuse me.